Which one?
Where you did the mapping, custom mapping.
That is missing. I didn't. It was means just overview. I didn't create a document for that.
Okay, I understand.
I will be giving you the document for the today's one, which would be our OData configuration. But apart from that, you had the documents from the start to till.
I have one quick question actually from last week's sessions. There's a when you create the. Can we start? Can I ask, or maybe you want to go around and later I can ask?
No, sir. You can ask this now.
Wonderful.
For others also. Yeah.
Okay. When you create the SOAP channel on the sender side, there is something called service and endpoint. I know we get the service and endpoint as well as like another one is called it's called sorry, give me a minute. It's called operation name or however it is. Like you get it from the visual file. But where do you get the name in the front P1:1? Where do you get that one?
This one?
Yeah, open there. I'll tell you. Click on the SOAP. Yeah, SOAP channel. Yeah, you see the P1 starting with P1:. Where do you get that? I mean, like, how does that being defined?
That is defined means if you have ever read or means if you had ever got chance to read the visual of it, you will find it this P1.
Oh, it was there in a visual. I tried to look around. I couldn't find it.
So means 1 second. From visual it automatically comes, means it is not that we are defining it or we are doing it.
Yes, service names usually at the bottom of the visual file.
Yes. No, I'm just searching out. Because generally it's P1 or N1 which comes into this endpoint URL. Not sure exactly where it is located, which things comes into this P1 or N1. Because even if you start do the SOAP request also, there is N1 or P1 kind of configuration. Let's see. Because I specifically know it by but can you this view because for this visitor it's always coming P1. 1 second. Check how this. Is it the SOAP one? I need to find out, sir. I need to exactly find out because as per my knowledge, you should have come from the visitor. But if it's not, then I need to find out.
Okay. And if you look at these, the other service endpoint on the receiver side.
1 second. Just going there. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the sender side, and the receiver side. If you go back.
It's opening 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, here also the same.
Yes, because for this also the WSDL which I have used is the same. Um,
Hmm.
okay, means in this case also the WSDL which we are pointing out to is goip.wsdl, this one. And for the sender end also the WSDL is same because we are not changing the structure in the
Yes.
sender and receiver.
I totally
So
agree. Yeah, I'm just seeing like a P1 is a the global variable you're passing through or not. That's what I
no,
had.
I just for this one, what we did, you might be aware that I just selected this WSDL. Okay, I just clicked on the browse. I
Yeah.
just selected
Why
the
don't you take a, why don't you remove that service name and endpoint and the operation name and let's see. It will not fill up automatically.
it will fill up. It will fill up. See, sir.
Okay.
This service
Oh,
endpoint and operation name. We
everything
don't.
came from Wisdom. Okay.
Yes, sir. This things comes from WSDL, but I am not sure about what exactly P1 annotates to. Uh,
Oh my God. Okay. Um,
okay,
well,
that is the same. That is the same case at the sender end also. I did not do any configuration. Let me show you again.
no,
I
it's
will
okay.
go.
Now I see it. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not that I did this configuration, but I should know what that P1 means in the WSDL. It's kind of weird that I don't know. Anyway, so I will
Yeah.
try to find out by tomorrow class, or I will to do some research on this and then see what
Uh,
this P1
no
means.
problem, Sanat. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, so this is about the older scenario. I guess everybody has created this scenario on their Eclipse as of now, um, because now again means if not, it is the time, it is the high time because we will be doing an OData configuration. It would be quite simple if I say as compared to this one because everything is given in hand to you in terms of OData. Um, but now as we have already completed major part of means the architecture of HCI, the start and all those things that we have already completed. Majorly part of what is the basic of HCI, and this comes means this configuration. It also comes in the basic of HCI. Let's move on to one today's configuration, the OData configuration, to be a vital one and very important one because this would be used in success factors also. This would be used in many other web services which expose it using OData. Okay, so be attentive. I would say this Satya is still missing. So uh, anyway, let's start with the configuration of OData. Anybody aware of what is OData and what are the OData services? Hello?
Yes, Sanat.
Yeah, anybody aware, I mean, you are aware of what is OData, what are the OData services?
Yeah, I'm aware of OData. Yes.
Okay, so
I'm not aware of OData.
Devi Prasad.
Yeah,
So,
Raghu.
I don't
Raghu.
know only that.
Okay. So what exactly OData is? OData is a kind, means it is just like your soap. Okay, the soap, the web servers just expose their database using a soap services. Okay, so OData is also kind of same, but it has means it you can create your what we say your queries and your all the fetching, updating, and inserting logic can be brought up directly to your uh, adapters in our case. Okay, we don't need to write it manually. Okay, and that is we don't need to have a structure. We don't need to go to the OData services to get the structure of their system. Generally, so we need to, just like we ask for a WSDL file, correct? Means we first of all went to their services and asked for a WSDL file, and then only we could come connect to the what we say our this GeoIP. But in case of OData, we just need a URL of this uh, uh, service and the user ID password if it is password protected, and that's it. We don't want the WSDL, we don't want the sender structure, receiver structure, nothing for OData. It's the receiver structure for OData. Sender structure, it was something we are triggering, but receiver structure we won't want. Okay, so this is something good and reduced efforts required. Okay, so just be with me while configuring the OData. Okay. If someone can guide me to create a new project, empty project, that would be helpful for me. Anybody?
Yeah. File new
Hmm.
new project, integration project. I mean.
Okay. I'm giving the name.
Yeah. What are we fetching? Northwind data or something? Example? Is that what we're using?
Kind of, yes.
Okay. Yeah. You can use Northwind or you can. Okay. Training. Yeah. Next.
It should come. What is going to be? क्या हुआ? What happened?
Yeah. You can still use a point-to-point channel.
What happened? Why I specify the folder? Why it's asking for a folder? Something wrong with my Eclipse.
Yeah. I think you need to update your Eclipse client, seems like.
Eclipse is so weird, huh? I mean to say. Anyway, let it be. What we will do, we won't create a package. I will create one iFlow.
No, you can use the same iFlow and delete the content and redo it, right? The GOIP, take the
Yeah,
same GOIP.
okay. Yeah, that would be again better thing. Only shoot that for it. Anyways, so
Yeah. Open the integration iFlow and go inside the integration iFlow, yeah. I think let's change the adapter types and we can proceed from there. It's only the name, right? It's okay.
we have the scenario. Okay. So let's assume as this is the new scenario. Okay, I'm just using the older name, but this is the new scenario where again at receiver end in this case would be our OData. So for the sender side, I'm again using a SOAP adapter. Okay, because I would be triggering it from my boomerang or let's say SOAP UI. Okay, so I am keeping it as SOAP adapter. Sender. I am sending it to my HCI using SOAP adapter. Okay, so I'm just clicking on it. I am taking the adapter type as SOAP. Okay, I'm not changing the transport protocol or message protocol. In earlier case, we had the RM reliable messaging protocol, but I'm not changing it. I'm just keeping it SOAP 1.6. At the adapter specific, I'm just providing one address. Let's say slash HCI slash OData. Let's not so this is the address which I gave. This is the address which and this is all based on me. I can name it anything, but it should be under the naming convention of your company. Okay, and if you are the first person who are installing it, then create a naming convention for the further use also. It should not be like they are naming arbitrarily. So if you are first implementing, then keep the naming convention as crisp as possible for all the objects you create in HCI, because I'm trying to create means this is for training also I'm giving a naming and training.com.hc. So there should be a uniformity at every place. So it would be better for others also to understand and for you also to read in later case when it comes to support. Okay. Now I'm not giving the WSDL. Okay, so this is a new scenario. I'm not giving a WSDL. I'm not giving the service point. I'm not giving any endpoint, and I am keeping all the things as blank. Okay, at the user role, and I'm just providing giving it a certificate, which I did same in the last configuration. Okay, same thing. I did the certificate. I imported a certificate. I kept authorization as client certificate and gave a address based on my naming convention as SHA Northwest. And this is it for my sender, and this is it. I will be sending the data to HCI to this address. Okay, so this is done for my sender. Now let's go to receiver end. So now this is new. Just take attach this to receiver. Let's see, and okay, double click on channel. Sorry. Yeah. Northwind. I am selecting my adapter as OData in this case. So again, you have same message protocol, only one message protocol, and release one transport protocol. It is over HTTP transport protocol, message protocol, the OData version 2. Okay, so earlier it was version 1, but at the time it was not released in the HCI, so it's new version 2. Now comes to the exciting part, I mean, it's a very beautiful part of OData. I like OData configuration because you don't need to do anything. You don't need to know what is going on in this receiver, and you just directly get these files here. So you have a endpoint URL called service.odata.org on northwind.csv. This is a open source OData service which allows you to query their database, uh, which allows you to get the data, which allows you to test your scenario. So this is just an open source OData web service which you can use to test your scenario. So let's say I have just put this address in my connection details. Okay. My proxy type is again over internet. It's not an on-premises system. It is my internet system. Okay, and this is an open one, so there is no basic authentication or client-based certificate-based authentication. So it will work means without authentication also. Now the thing comes which we need to display or which we need to fetch, or the operations which we need to do over this Northwind OData service. So for this, either if you know how to write a query, if you are a hardcore coder and you know how to create a query, you can directly write a query here and it will be done. But if in case you don't, it's not a very major issue. You can directly click on operation modeling. Okay, the address which you gave here, see, service.org.northwind.csv, it is populated here. As I said, it is an open source, so it is open to all. So just click on, without user ID password, just click on next. You will find it will try to connect to that scenario, that OData right away. And these are the categories which are available on this OData service. So let's say you have customer demographic, customer, employee, order underscore detail, order, product, region. So based on this, you can query a OData service. So let's say we will take an order one. We will click on the next. Okay, so these are the categories. Under this category, there are some sub categories, means if we want to get the order, only about order. So I will click on order and I will click on next. Now, based on what operation do I need to do? Let's say I want to do a query operation. Means query means get in your HTTP. You have create or post. You have a put. So these are the HTTP queries which you can do on this operation, order operation. So I want to query it. I'm not trying to update it. I'm just going to query the OData service. So let's say I selected some, and you will find a query created at the bottom. Okay, so I have unselected everything, and now you can see query is empty as of now. But if I want to write a query, means it will this query is coming automatically. Hello, is everybody there on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Because, so who's this? Anyway, now I'm just clicking on the query, and you can see under orders, for orders category you have select query, the customer ID, employee ID, freight, order ID, required date, ship date. I am querying everything. I want to have everything. Okay. So let's say I've selected everything here. Now I'm clicking here next. So you can see a query has already been created, and if you are very efficient in writing a query, you can directly write this query in your operation. But if you're not, you can just select it here and it reduce your time. Okay. Now I'm clicking on to next. Now the next thing comes
What's the top and skip?
Top and skip is means if you have, if let's say you have based on this query, if there are so many entries which are coming. So let's say I want to take only top 5 results or top 10 results. Okay, so top and skip the bottom this or skip this particular query. You can use this. Okay, skip. So we will see in the next class when I will elaborate. We will see in this. Okay, top and skip. Okay. Right now, let's say I have just given a query for all the select, means if you are aware of how select query works, you have select, from, and then there is where clause. Where clause is the filter based on which you get the response. Means let's say you have a database of 10,000 employees or 10,000 orders. So right now I have written the select query from, select and from, but I haven't provided what would be the filter. If I won't provide any filter, it will give me or fetch me all the orders present in the your database. If we want, we can get that also, and if we don't, then we can have a where clause also on this query. So filter by, let's say, order ID. So order ID means I would say based on that ID, I will be segregating, or I mean I will be asking my query that only based on this order I want the details. Okay, so let's say it is equal to, if my query all say that okay it is equal to this, then only fetch me the order, else don't. Okay, so think of it as I'm just hard coding it right now. Just hard coding. I am not making it as a dynamic one. I'm just hard coding without any means I am not depending on my sender system. Each time it will respond me the same query. So let's say 10249. I know this ID. Okay, so I'm just hard coding it to one order. Okay, and I'm clicking on next. Now let's say it would be not valid for our case that we can do the sorting because we are just asking for one order ID. Okay, so it is not suitable for our case. Okay, so let's do it finish. Or do we want all the query? Do we want only one, or do we want all the response from the sender?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, just click on finish. Okay, so you would be populated one EDMX file, which is the your structure file, which is created in your scenario. Okay, it has been created. Click on OK. One XSD file, it has been created. So automatically these files have been created in your scenario. You can just click here and you will find one XSD file, which you can double click. Okay, and this defines it is based on the order, and this order has this order type. Okay, and you have one EDMX file which contains all the details. Means it's an XML file which shows what is the length of the Unicode. We paste it in one text file so that it would be a understandable file. Right. So this is the EDMX file which is generated by the your operation, your Eclipse. It contains means you have different things. If you can read this, means it's just like the visual file we had shown you earlier. It's kind of same, but not the all the same endpoint URLs and all those things. It is specifically for OData. Okay, so you have different entities like Northwind categories, customer, and all those things. This order. So we opted for this order. So for this, then you selected the order subcategory, order ID, employee ID, and those things. This is also visible in this. I'm just showing you because that was not directly visible here. You cannot view this XML directly here. So that's why I don't want to say it. So these two files, these are automatically generated in your scenario. Okay, earlier it was GeoIP, now it's this one. Okay, let's find out if there are some errors. Okay, we have done this query. Apart from this, we are not doing anything in this area. Okay, we don't want customer query option. Custom query options means if you want to deviate from this query, then we can write a custom query also. Content type, it's atom or JSON. These are two two standards in which you can query the OData. Means JSON, you might aware JSON is the JSON in atom. This means at the back end of the OData, this is the standard on which the query is done. Okay, so in our case we'll keep it as atom itself. Okay. Then do you want to encode the data? No, we don't want to encode the data. And page size, because we are doing it for single query, we're keeping it 100, 200, and timeout 1 minute. So this is done for the OData. Okay, this is the only thing which we do for
Sanath,
the
where do you see
OData.
the EDML file, XML file? Where was it?
So at the top of it, okay, here, this is the one. I guess for you, screen is lagging a little bit, correct?
Yeah, screen is lagging. I couldn't able to find it where it is. Oh, you open the file directly under the WSDL itself. Okay, gotcha. Okay. But I thought there'll be a way it shows in the right-hand side of the screen.
No, 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 sir. It's
Is it also from the WSDL?
under the WSDL you have the XSD file, but under
Gotcha.
the source dot. Okay.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay, it will not show here, but okay.
Is it the screen lagging is for only Nike or it's for everybody?
Yeah, like a slight lag is there, Sanath, for me as well.
Sanath, for me also, slide is lagging.
Okay. So we have configured the OData, na?
Yes.
Okay, sir. So uh, now I am checking for the errors. This is as plain scenario as it's possible right now. Um, um, I'm just checking for errors, execute checks. I think it will give errors. So first of all, let me save. I have saved the scenario. There are no warnings. I'm executing checks. Uh, So after executing, there are no warning there itself. Also, no failed integration projects. 0 past 1. Now I'm deploying it to the cloud. Okay, deploying integration content. Click here. Excuse me. Getting old now. And my tenant is getting loading. Okay. What happened? क्या हुआ? What happened? Just a second. Just tenant data is not coming. Let me check if it's up or not.
Yeah, seems like.
Just a minute, guys. I'm not sure if it's my Eclipse or it's. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Sanath,
Yeah.
this is Dev Prasad.
Yeah, then
Last week I dropped a mail to you.
I saw that configuration.
Yes.
I imported that and it was there, but it was in my other system Eclipse. I was on this client side, so it was on other system Eclipse. So
Okay.
let me check later. Okay. Okay. So integration content deployed. Okay. It has been successfully deployed. It is taking time today. The tenant is working very slow. Okay. My web URL it's not working. Error in fetching resource. So my
I think the cloud platform integration service is down.
and and they claim 99% 9% time of
No,
uptime.
this is a test environment, right? That's why.
No, this is kind of second one is my production.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Wow. That's not good.
I'm not sure how to deal with it. If you are saying to customer that SAP is claiming 99.9% of time is up, and then they do these things, then anyway, it has got deployed. Let's check if it comes. So see my training.com.hci.goip. It has been deployed on 18 today, Indian time 8:30, 8:48. Okay, so it has already been deployed. Let's take the endpoint URL. So how to take endpoint URL? Go to this node.
Go to the IFL node, deployed artifacts.
Yep, I will note, and under this there is an option called services. So click on the service tab.
Sanath, can you be a little slower because I'm not able to get the exact screens
Yes,
where
sir,
you are
yes, sir.
talking. Little.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. On the Node Explorer, under the third option, I means our in, worker node, we have this. Just double click on this worker node. You will find under the property you have the services. Just click on the services. Okay, and try to find out your scenario, which is our GeoIP2. So let's find out GeoIP2 if it's available. So this is our GeoIP2. Okay, and you have our endpoint URL which is created /HCI/Northwind. Just right click on it and click find the copy endpoint URL. Okay, so that is it. You have the endpoint URL. Your flow is deployed successfully to the cloud. and now you can test it. So for testing again, I am using the SOAP UI or Boomerang in my case. Okay, I'm just taking that and going to a scenario. I've just wrote this simple XML. It doesn't get anything. It is slash header body get GUIP. Not this one. Let's find out. I have one older one which I wrote. Yes, I wrote this one, and it's a simple XML. It's nothing majorly here. We don't have any standard structures specific to this, so I just wrote it, had a body, and under body I had order number underscore empty, and under order number, and again order number empty. The tags were closed, and that's it. Nothing major about this. Okay.
Order number is 10249.
As of now, it doesn't matter. I'm just removing it also. I'm just sending a blank message to the OData. Okay.
Okay.
I'm just sending a blank message. I'm not even giving any details to this OData service. I'm just sending it. Okay. And let's wait for some response. And our HCI is working fast. So it gave me all the response from the OData. Okay, you can see.
Haven't you selected the filter, Sanat?
Correct. Let me check that.
Order ID.
Just give me a second. And remember, I did a mistake here. The mistake was I did not click on the option called add. When I selected the filter, I did not selected the button add, so it was not added to my query. I'm just reading my query and it's there. It is selecting all the things. Okay, so let me hard code it again. Okay. The only thing which I will do right now is I will add one. I will just click on add there. I'm just on this screen of filter of my OData query. Let me know when it is visible to you. Am I on the filter page?
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so I clicked on add and then this equals to 10249 came to my query. Okay, I'm just finishing it. It will say, do you want to save it because there is one existing XSD file present, okay, which we have created earlier. So I would say yes, overwrite it. And one more XSD get one is created under your scenario. Okay, that means the latest one would be used. Okay, so don't worry about it. Just save it. Do the execute checks. Deploy it. Okay, I'm deploying it. And that's it. Now I'm going back to my boomerang where I will do a request. Now here you will see I am again querying it with the same empty order number. And let's see what we get the response. Okay, so we have got a response only for 10249. Okay, the request was empty, but again in response we got for 10249. So getting that it was pure hard coding, and we got the response for this only. And when there was no hard coding, we were getting a response of all the orders present in that web or in that Northwind web server. Okay, so are you clear with this scenario? In this next means in the next process we will be doing a dynamic configuration where we will be taking the data from the order number and then we will be getting response. So till now it's clear, or any questions, because response for order here.
It's clear.
Okay, okay.
Can you just brief me like what we have done? Like we have uh, uh, from Boomerang we have sent the data to this Northwind system, right?
No, we did not send any
Yes.
data.
We did not send any data. We just triggered it. We just triggered the our HCI, and HCI in turns triggered the data at the Northwind with specific order number 10249. So our boomerang was just to trigger a message, not the content of it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so you can see in my request message from my boomerang, I'm sending a blank XML to the HCI. Okay, this was our endpoint URL which we created. To this endpoint URL, I'm just sending a blank XML to the HCI. But my HCI, what HCI is doing is, we have already created a uh, query in HCI which is hard coded for only 10249 order ID. So it gave me response of only 10249. It
Okay.
was irrespective what was my sender message.
Okay.
Okay. Now what we will do? Let's say I will do a dynamic configuration. So for in this case, I am doing 10250. Let's say 250 right? 250. This is the order number which I want. I want my HCI to take this order number, this specific order number, which is present between these two tags. Okay, this start tag and end tag of order number, and then query, and then give me the result. Okay, so it should not be a hard coding, but it should be a dynamic response. Okay, so for this we need to do extra bit of configuration, or extra bit of we need to add events in the HCI. So I guess everybody in the class was aware of content modifier. I specifically shown everything in the last class of what is content modifier, what are local variables, and now it's the time to use it.
Okay.
Okay, so content modifier, you know now that what are local variable, what are global variable, what are um, how to use them, where exactly they are available. So this would be a major thing, and it use is just now we will use it. Okay, so just click on content modifier under the message transformation. Okay, place it between your scenario. Okay, in the start and end event. Okay, just place your content modifier event. Okay, double click on it, click on the properties, and from the header in the header part, you can add one variable. Let's say I have just clicked on add in the property in the header. You can create a value. Okay, it would be a variable, it could be anything. So I'm just giving the
ODL.
name as,
Yeah.
sorry?
Yeah, any name you could give it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm just taking as order number. Now, what is this order number? This not order number, is it a constant? Is it a X path? It is a header. It's an expression. So where exactly we are getting this order number? So we are getting this order number from our XML. This is the order number which we are getting. So let's, because if this is an XML, then we have to provide a X path for it. So you have specified X path. Okay. Now, what type of data type it is there? So in general, there are different type of data types available in your Java. So as of now, just think of it as a universal data type as string. It can accommodate string, it can accommodate integers also, it can accommodate character also. So for a universal perspective, just take it string. So Java dot lang dot Java dot lang dot string. Okay, a universal one. We will get back to it later part. Okay. Uh, Now from where do I want to get the variable? Means which exactly would be the field from where I want the value. So either if you know the means if you have the WSDL file, if that is imported in the sender SOAP channel, then you don't need to write this. You can just click on this help button, means this triple dot button, and you will find the list of the uh, fields present in your XML, and from there you can fetch it. But if in our case, we haven't specified anything. So what I will do, I will either give full XPath, or I will say / order number. So what this my HCI will do is, it will search for this order number in my sender XML. Okay. And
Okay.
wherever this get, means it matches completely, means this order number, wherever it gets completely matched, then it will take that field, the field which is present between the tag of the order number, and it will pass this to this variable called order number. Let's say I will give you a better name, order number, which is uh, ORD and no. So you can differentiate between the two. So my order and O contains the value of the order number which is coming from the XML. Confusion or clear, or should I repeat?
It's clear. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it will just take, it will match this order number, and it will take that value and put under this order number, order NO. Okay. Now, once we have this, we have a variable which is dynamically taking the value from my sender XML, and it is saving in the I flow.
Yep.
Now at the receiver end, what we had to do, we had done a
Modify the
hard
code.
coding. Yes. So we had done a hard coding. Now we will remove this hard coding, and we will do a dynamic query. Okay. Let's again go to model operation. Okay. Click on next. Okay. Click on next. again the order one, the same thing which we did, order ID, this. Okay. Now go in the filter by again in the where clause. Okay. Generally I'm a wrapper, so it's always a where clause for me. So in the filter by or the where clause of an this query, click on filter by based on equal to, and in place of text select the option called header. If you know, I have created a variable in header.
Yes.
Okay, so under click on header and the value was order n, okay, ORDR. It was small or it was big. Uh, just forgot.
Variable name.
Capital O, capital F. I thought it's a case insensitive.
Mm, yeah, it's case and no, it's case sensitive.
Okay.
Your Apache camel, it's case sensitive, so generally need to be correct. Okay, order I know, and I am not doing any sorting, and I'm just clicking on finish. Again, it will say, do you need to overwrite? I will overwrite it. Okay, so you have a scenario again, which is uh, taking the data from the sender. Uh, it would be taking the file. It will take the order number from the sender tag order number, and it will be used in the your OData query. Okay, and it will filter out based on it, and it will respond about based on this. Now I'm saving it. Okay, and again checking for errors. Okay, and keep a practice of checking errors before deploying it. Okay, you don't want the error uh, integration flow to be deployed over the HCI. Okay, so now deploy it. Okay, so this is, I'm just deploying it to my cloud. Now it's there. So see, there is no hard coding done. You will check if it has been successfully deployed right away. At this point instance, 9, 10. Okay, so 9, 10, 32. It has been deployed. Now what I will do is, let's see if earlier it was 10249. Now I will request for 10250. Okay. Based on this query only, this number only, I want a response. Okay. So let's say request, and we have a response. See, and this response is 10250. It is not hard coded. Let's say we will go with 10251. If it's available, then it will be, we will be getting a response. Yeah, so 10251 also it is there, and we are getting a response. So this is a scenario which is a dynamic scenario. Okay. You can see we are getting a postal code for that order. Okay, from this postal code, this is the ship date, the order date, order ID, freight, how much freight is it has been provided, ship region it's not there. Okay, required date, at what time it would be required. Okay, which city, which country, which employee. Okay, so all these details has been fetched and shown in front of you. Let's see if I don't provide anything, what error it will give or what response it will give. Let's see. So we have an error. See, if I haven't giving any response, then this is a query error. Okay. Now we have triggered some amount of message. Let's go to HCI for monitoring. Okay. I'm going in HCI, my tenant. Okay. And we'll go with the for the message monitoring. Okay. In this message monitoring, you will find for last hour. I'm just searching for last hour. For last hour, some 5 message has been processed. And in this 5, 1 is in error and 5 are in completed state. Okay. So the first one, it took 5 seconds. I don't know why. 7 seconds, I don't know why. But apart from this, it was around 40 milliseconds, 48, 400 milliseconds, 480 milliseconds around that mark. Okay. So, and if you
The first
want to
point
use
was you
the
pulled out all the records, that's why.
guess of but first one, generally the first one, it always takes time because there is an authentication also which is
And length charge
done.
is percentage high.
Correct. And yeah,
Customer will get
then
entire records.
yes. And generally, even if it's for single query, if it's for single for first one, generally takes time. So for the authentication, because the certificate are then authenticated, once it's done, it will not take time. Anyway, this is completed. Now what you do, you want to read the logs of it. So what you do, click here, click on the console. Once again, logs not there. Yes, the logs are there now. See, for this one, this 7 seconds, it started at some 5 and it's ended at 30. Okay, and you can read this log here down. Okay, at what time it started, what time ended, what was the processing time. You can understand this. So if you want to, okay, if you want to read it, and then we will go with the error logs. Directly go to error logs. Okay, the one which failed due to empty our order ID. So you can see in this, it is saying the order ID equals was invalid. Okay, invalid filter expression. Okay, an exception called for exception expected after position 11 in the order ID of this query. So you can, if there are some errors occurring in your, let's say, scenario, you can directly go to the error logs and try to understand and do the root cause analysis for this. Okay. Um, it would be not directly simple because it's not saying that it is empty, that's why it is giving an error, but it is pointing out that this order ID equals filter condition in the OData. There is some issue, so you can go there, you can find, means you can take the payload and you can then search what exactly they have passed, and then you can try to understand if this was expected and if that is not being supplied to the HCI. Okay, so this is how you do the uh, error handling, or let's say you go for the root cause analysis of some errors coming in your HCI. Okay, so you can do this. Okay, apart from this, if you want, we can try to create one, let's say, message persistence also, which we covered in last session. Anyway, but before going to message persistence, is this clear with everybody? Or should I
Yes.
repeat?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Uh, Venkat,
Yeah, yeah, Sanath. Yeah, I'm getting
is it
slowly.
working?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, Raghu, you are there now?
Yeah, Sanath, I'm here.
Yeah. So pretty clear with you, OData?
Clear, it's clear.
Okay. So because I'm just saying because the same thing would be done in your success factor integrations also. Let's say I'll just change it to success factor adapter. Let me show you a success factor adapter. So just click on success factor in place of HCI OData. I'm just clicking on success factor adapter, and you will see the transport protocol and OData message protocol will remain the same. There are REST also and SOAP also, but at times maximum number of time it would be your OData adapter version 2. Okay, don't change this to 4. As of now, success factor don't recommend version 4. You should go with the version 2. Okay, and in the adapter specific configuration you will find the same thing. You will find the address, the credentials, okay, and again the model operation. Okay, so as soon as you have the success factor URL and the user ID passwords, you can directly go to success factor and you can query the success factor for the updation of, let's say, employee, updation of, let's say, organizational data. So anything means just the things which we've seen right now, it would be done in success factors also. So kind of we have little bit knowledge of what is success factor adapters also with this OData adapter. And this OData adapter is not only specifically for success factors because it is very universal. Now it is being used by many other companies. Okay, it was earlier, it was mainly created by your Microsoft, but then it was open sourced for everybody for because of its wider range and better usability, simple usability. So it's now an open standards for all the um, web servers. Means now your mobile mobile apps and all those things, they are relying on the OData adapter, OData and REST type of RESTful type of adapters for the data communication. Okay, I don't want to save it. For the data fetching and data updating in the web servers. Okay, so just keep this in mind. At today's end of the day, I will be giving you the document for this. Don't worry about that if you don't remember the steps and all those things. I will be giving you the document for it. Okay, which would be having each step and everything which I did today in this with this uh, content modifier also. Okay, so you can do it yourself and try to create the scenario. Okay, apart from this, I will be also giving you one assignment where you need to create OData to for SOAP to fetch the temperature, current temperature of a city. So for that, I will be giving you just which would be the URL and a WSDL, and then you need to create it from your end and then come back to me. Okay, it's just purely for your uh, practice purpose. Okay. Um, if we require, we will be taking those things in our sessions also. Okay, let's quickly jump on to the message persistence. Okay, so earlier I told you there was option called message persistent in the HCI. So what is message persistence if somebody can recall me? or let me give you briefly. Message persistent, using message persistence, you can write a variable in the HCI database. Okay, so how do we do that? So take this under this message persistence, there is called data store operation. Just take this data store operation and place it in between the this one, your iFlow or integration process. If you see, by default it is a write operation. There could be different options to do over the HCI database. Now this message persistence, this database which we are talking about, it is specifically for HCI. It is not third-party database or any web service. It is the HCI database. Okay, so if I want to write some data to my HCI, means generally we say that your HCI is only, it keeps only the transactional data. It does not keep the uh, payload, those data, payload data which you can fetch, which is the same case in PI also. But with HCI, they have given a extra bit of database, not a huge database or something like that. A extra bit of database where you can keep your variable saved, and then you can uh, fetch that variable in the later uh, iFlows. So let's see, this is the right one. So write means you can write this variable to your uh, database of HCI. So if you want to do switch to delete operation, to select operation, to get operation, just right click on the event of that whatever the data store operation. You will find it switch to delete, switch to select, switch to get operation, and technical information. But by default it is write operation. And to do the monitoring of it, in next just 2 minutes I will show you how to do the monitoring of what are the data stores. Okay. So right now let's write something to my data store. I am giving a name to my data store. Let's say Sana. Okay. Entity, just understand which GUID or XPath. Sorry.
Is it possible to maintain any name?
Yeah, means again the naming convention which you need to follow. Let's say order number. Okay, it would be a better name.
We can maintain any name in this, or need to maintain specific name which are provided
No,
by
no, no,
the.
any name, any name, any name, any name, any name.
Okay.
Okay. Let's say we are saving the X part of order number. Okay. From there, we are taking the value of order number and saving it to the my HCI database. So this is right. I have done this. I will save it.
Amit, you already stored the variable in the header. You can use the variable, right? Instead of the XPath value straight away.
Sorry?
For entity ID, you can directly take the header value, right? The variable you already defined in the previous string.
I can, but for the reason, for the sake, the XML is coming. That's why I took this.
Okay.
But I can take that header also.
Right.
Okay.
I'm just keeping order number 1 if it won't create an issue. You don't have any fail scenario. I'm just deploying it. Why it's taking so much of time here? I don't understand. So before triggering it, I will go to the Node Explorer and I will see
The table
in my
data.
Node Explorer, yeah, there is an option called Data Store View. Correct. So click on Data Store View. You will find there is no data store available as of now. Okay, there is an weather data. So this is not the one which I created as of now. Okay, so this, now what I will do, I will again trigger my whole message. Okay, let's say 10250. Okay, I'm again triggering the same message. Okay, um, I am changed it and I'm now sending it, and I will get a response. So my message won't change. Okay, my response won't change. But in the backend of my HCI, I have already placed a message to HCI database. So how to view it? Again, go to the monitoring, and under that you have the data store view. It's not refreshed. Okay, so you have a new data store called data. So you have a order number, which visibility is only in this I flow. Number of entries 1. Okay, number of overdue entries 0. Okay, and it would be deleted by 16/6/2017. I
90 days.
have not. Oh, I haven't changed that setting. One second.
It's a 90 days schedule. It was there in the past.
Yeah, I missed it. Okay, so for 3 months it would be available, and as I'm not being the
To maintain 90 days.
yes, and I'm not
Just
being
wait.
the administrator of this tenant, I cannot delete it.
ठीक है ठीक है.
So, so for 90 days, the order number 1, it would be visible for everybody. Great. Uh, so under this, you will find you have an entity called order number. Okay, and if you want to do, if in next, let's say next flow, if you want to read the same uh, entity, so what you can do, you can switch to read get operation, data store name, what data store name was order number,
Order number 1.
yes, order number 1. Okay, and then you can use it for the further use. Again, this would be again the same thing which we did for the header part. It is again, it would be visible. Okay, so you can do it is you can delete it if it's not required. Okay, so I will, let's see if it allows me to delete. I will delete it from here. If I am not the, I guess it will allow me. I will deploy it and see if it allows me to delete. Again, I'm triggering a message. Its message is triggered perfectly. My flow is working. Now I'm again going to my data store. Let's see if it gets deleted. It's not deleted. So I'm not the authorized person to delete it. Anyway, so either you can read it, you can delete it. If you have the perfect authorization, you can delete it. You can write it, the right one which we already did, read it, we did. So this is what your read and means your message persistence means in terms of your HCI. This is only available in the HCI as of now, not in PI. It will
Samet,
be,
do we know
sir.
what value is being stored there inside the database in the persistent store?
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Not in the Eclipse.
Not from the Eclipse. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Not from the Eclipse, because again, that is, if it is a sensitive data, that is not allowed. That's why. It would be only visible through your iFlow. It means in an iFlow only you can do that. Read the message and the content. You will be only visible the variable name under which the data is saved. Okay. So this is again the message persistence, okay, which is a new feature which is available in HCI, which is not there in PI also. So that's why I had to cover this. Any questions till now for this?
No.
Okay. So, and also there was an option called visibility of it, which I think missed it out. Okay. So what is the visibility? Visibility is something like if, let's say, I have created this, let's say, message, this variable I created in my one iFlow, and I want to use it globally in other iFlows also, or other integration, other scenarios also. Then what I will do is I will create an order data store name, and I will click the visibility as global. So other iFlow will also be able to fetch or read the data store and use it for their purpose, or take that for reference. Okay, but if this is means connected scenario, let's say from one employee is created, then that employee is saved into the data store for first part, and that same employee who is used is getting updated for some, let's say, address. So I want to take a reference of that variable which I have created in my earlier iFlow, and then I have to save for that same subsequent iFlow employee. I want to save the address. So if there are connected or full connected scenarios, then this would be really helpful, and it contains that detail. And also there is a scenario, let's say in past, let's say in Salesforce, if you have worked on in Salesforce, there is always an option of ID. Okay, means you have a session ID. So in response, you get a session ID in the, let's say first you triggered for the session ID, you get the response in session ID. You save that session ID response in a variable, then this data store. Then you take in the next where you are updating, fetching, or whatever the logics you require that session ID. So you can fetch that session ID from this variable, and then you can do the update process and these things. So and that session ID is only valid for some particular amount of time, let's say 30 seconds, 50 seconds. For that period of time only that session ID is valid. So trigger first message, you get the session ID, store that into your this data store, fetch this, use it in next iFlow, and then delete it. Okay, so this is a simple scenario where these things can come into picture. There might be possible in your when you come across, you can see some complex scenarios also where this data store will come into picture. So you're getting me, means where exactly this global and local will things comes. because in Salesforce it is a major thing that you need a session ID, and then only you can go with the next what is updating fetching logic or whatever it is. You need that session ID to log in, and then the further processing is done. Okay.
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 Okay. And keep this time 90 days to whatever 1 day or whatever things. Based on that, you can do this.
Sana,
It was my mistake. Yes, sir.
can you check the email which are forwarded by me?
Uh, can I check after this? Means tomorrow, because you already created the scenario. This one.
No, no,
No,
no. Last one, last week's thing
last
which
week
we.
Okay, okay. I will check it today after the class. I will try to do it. Okay, okay.
okay.
Apart from this, let's check to the syllabus which we have completed as of now. Where is my HCI? This is my HCI. So, okay. So, we have done the introduction, ISO architecture, middleware evolution, capabilities of orchestration, um, the introduction of HCI, process integration comparison, HCI process orchestration. This all is basic and architecture of HCI we have completed. Okay. Now I guess everybody is aware of what are tenant concepts. I'm just uh, giving a quick overview so that if there is an issue or if you are not aware of these things, just let me know. Okay. Uh, we have completed the under the hood of HCI, tenant management node, worker node. We are all aware of it. Okay. Getting around our HCI web tool, HCI Eclipse tool of HCI. Okay. What is environment setup? What is downloading Eclipse? Setup to install Eclipse on your local. We have created the connections and tested. Now we are done with the demo flows. Now everybody is aware how to create the iFlows in their Eclipse as well as their web portal. We have deployed this to the HCI. Uh, we have done 2 or 3 scenarios for the uh, demo. Okay, we have understood what is OData. Okay, configuration on live scenario. We have done this. Now also we have done the message container, message persistent. Okay, how to download certificate from ECC and importing it to HCI. We will be doing it, but it's certificate based authentication. I have already given you a brief knowledge. Now we will be going in the main part, see, which is now we are means this is just in starting which we have done. So 50% it's already done. Now we are going into the serious business where we are will be understanding the pre-packaged content. Okay, what are pre-packaged content, understanding pre-packaged content, how those works, because HCI it is mainly sold based on the pre-packaged content and all the pre-built scenarios. Okay, so this is the major part which we need to cover. From next week we will be jumping on to the live scenario, which would be major thing. Okay, so almost 55 to 60% of our course has been completed. Okay. Um, uh, if you want, we can take a quick session tomorrow if it's required by somebody to get things right or before going to prepackaged content, because then I won't be covering up these basic things again. Okay. Um, we will be going in deep into the HCI configuration. Okay. When we will be jumping onto live scenarios, we will be looking into ERP, C4C, and your HCI portion would be, means apart from HCI configuration, we will be jumping onto ERP configuration also. What are the things which are required at the ERP and at the C4C? So those things also I will be showing. So before that, I want you people to be on the same page of HCI. Okay. Uh, then we will understand the adapter kit, steps of what is adapter kits and those things. Uh, this is the later part. Okay. So please be on your toe. Please ask me questions. Okay. I would say we are means into the second half of our uh, training. Okay. Uh, do let me know through Bharat or directly that what feedback do you want from me. If I am missing something, do you need to get do you want to repeat something or something? Just let me know so that it would be helpful for you itself. Okay. If it's okay, then we can wrap it up and then go to tomorrow's come to tomorrow's class. Okay.
Is there a class tomorrow, Sana?
Yes.
What time?
The same time, sir.
Because last week there was only one class, right?
Last week I was busy. Means my sister, she gave birth to a beautiful baby, so that's why the class was not there.
Because right now, that for me, time is like at 12:15 in the midnight. I can do
Oh,
one
okay.
night like this. Yeah, it's like too late for me. Is it possible, like, you want to run class tomorrow morning, which is tomorrow evening your time?
What we can do is we can take tomorrow 1 hour session, today 2 hours and tomorrow 1 hour, so that it won't be too late for you. So will that be okay?
Uh,
Till 9 means it's
yeah,
9:45 till 9
tomorrow I
and
can't
I
make
will
it in
be
the
on.
evening, Sana. I have some other scheduled work. I have to go to a hospital actually for somebody else. I'm doing the
Okay,
hospital support for them.
okay. Well, eventually I will be taking tomorrow's session as a recap scenario for everybody. So I guess it won't require for you if not.
Oh, great. If it's a recap, no issues. Okay, wonderful. Okay.
Okay. For others also, Devi Prasad, Raghunath, Venkat, um, we will be having a recap scenario tomorrow. Okay. Let's see if Satya comes into class tomorrow, and then we can join it. Okay. Uh, so till tomorrow, I am expecting some issues or some clarifications which you require from my side. Okay, and then we can move forward, because after this there's no turning back, because I would be covering up these things pretty fast, means configuration and those things I will be covering pretty fast as compared to right now, because I'm taking too much of time efforts to make you understand. So let's keep tomorrow's session as a kind of recap so that we can understand and we all are on the same page. Okay.
Sanat, can you please share the recorded sessions?
Recorded sessions, it would be tough for this because these are my client related documents. The recorded sessions for the only theoretical part, it would be present with Bharat and he will be mailing to you all those things. Okay. Because I am not the admin for this call, so it would be Bhadar only who will be sending the recording session for you. It's not recorded at my. Okay.
Okay, sure. Okay, okay.
Okay, but I guess are my documents means adequate, or do you want more documents for them? Means just for my quality purpose.
Yeah, documents it's enough, but we are expecting the recording.
Yes, so recording you can check with Bharat.
Okay. Okay, okay, Sanat.
So let's meet up tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Sanat,
Sure.
Sanat, hello.
Yes, Dev Prasad.
Can you check my scenario?
Sorry, just now?
Yeah, yes.
Tomorrow we'll be joining because I have one more class right now. I have to join another session.
ठीक
So
है.
okay, tomorrow we will be doing all these things tomorrow.
Okay.
I have
Today
some
class also I
problems.
will create.
Yes, surely, and mail that to Bharat, and then he will in turn send it to me. And Venkat, you also, I guess, a little bit fast for you, a little bit, I guess. I'm not sure how much you have gripped today, but I would expect some questions from you tomorrow. Okay. Venkat. Anyway, it's an issue at Venkat. So let's meet up tomorrow. Okay.
Sure.
Bye. Bye.
Okay.
Okay, bye, Sanat.
Bye.
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 जा रहा हूँ ना, तू भी जा रहा हूँ